Have you ever watched Avengers, Endgame, and felt like there was just too much happening? Well, you're right. This movie wasn't just the end of a story. It was the end of 11 years of storytelling inside the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And because of that, the directors packed it with hidden details, emotional callbacks, secret meanings, and Easter eggs that most people completely missed. Today, we're breaking down the biggest hidden details in Avengers, Endgame that you probably didn't notice. Let's begin. Keycap 1. Tony Stark's final line wasn't random. When Tony Stark says, "I am Iron Man," before snapping his fingers, that wasn't just a cool moment. It directly mirrors the ending of Iron Man, the very first MCU movie. Back in 2008, Tony shocked the world by saying, "I am Iron Man." That line started the entire universe. And in Endgame, the exact same words ended his journey. This was intentional. The writers wanted his story to begin and end the same way. Full circle. Keycap 2. Captain America finally lifted Mjolnir. When Captain America lifts Thor's hammer, the theater exploded. But here's what many missed. In Avengers, Age of Ultron, there's a scene where the Avengers try to lift Mjolnir. Steve Rogers actually moves it slightly. Thor's face changes. He looks nervous. That moment proved Cap was always worthy. He just chose not to lift it fully. Why? Because he didn't want to embarrass Thor. That small movement in Ultron was foreshadowing Endgame years before it happened. Keycap 3. The "I love you 3000" meaning. Morgan Stark tells Tony, "I love you 3000." Fans thought it was random. It wasn't. Robert Downey Jr.'s real-life children reportedly told him they loved him 3000. Marvel included this as a tribute. Also, the total runtime of all MCU movies before Endgame was close to 3,000 minutes. So that line became both personal and symbolic. Keycap 4. Thanos is different in Endgame. The Thanos in Endgame is not the same Thanos from Infinity War. In Infinity War, he's calm, patient, philosophical. In Endgame, he's younger and more aggressive. Why? Because this Thanos hasn't yet experienced loss. He hasn't sacrificed Gamora. He hasn't won yet, so he's more arrogant. That subtle personality shift is intentional storytelling. Keycap 5. The girl power scene has a hidden callback. During the final battle, there's a moment where all the female heroes assemble together. That includes Captain Marvel, Scarlet Witch, Okoye, Wasp. This mirrors a similar comic book panel from Marvel Comics history. It was a direct tribute to female heroes who were historically underrepresented in early Marvel stories. Keycap 6. The elevator scene was genius. Remember when Captain America enters the elevator with Hydra agents? Instead of fighting them like in Captain America, the Winter Soldier, he whispers, "Hail Hydra." That line references the famous comic storyline Secret Empire. It was also a smart twist, showing Cap using intelligence instead of force. Keycap 7. The broken shield symbolism. When Thanos breaks Captain America's shield, that shield represents hope, protection, and resilience. When it cracks, it symbolizes the Avengers are at their lowest. The old era is ending. The world is truly in danger, but Cap still stands. Even with a broken shield, that moment defines his character. Not power, not strength, but heart. Keycap 8. The portal scene is a callback to Infinity War. When the portals open and everyone returns, listen carefully. You hear Sam Wilson say, "On your left." That is the exact same line he says to Steve during their jogging scene in Captain America, the Winter Soldier. That line represents friendship. It also represents hope returning. Keycap 9. Hawkeye's opening scene is symbolic. The movie opens with Hawkeye losing his family. Notice how peaceful everything is before they disappear. That calm setting makes the snap feel more personal. It reminds us, this isn't just about superheroes. It's about families, regular people, loss. Keycap 10. The final dance scene. At the end, Steve Rogers returns the stones. But he doesn't come back. Instead, he lives a full life with Peggy Carter. The final dance scene mirrors her unfinished dance promise from Captain America, the first Avenger. He finally gets his life. not as a soldier, but as a man. 1. Iron Man's funeral details. Look closely at Tony's funeral scene. You'll notice a teenage boy standing alone. That is Harley Keener, the kid from Iron Man 3. Most people didn't recognize him. That small detail shows how Tony influenced more lives than we realized. 2. Doctor Strange silent signal. During the final battle, Doctor Strange raises one finger. That references Infinity War. He saw 14,605 possible futures. Only one victory. When he lifts one finger, he's silently telling Tony, this is a 1. No words, just eye contact. Clapperboard final thoughts. Avengers. Endgame wasn't just action. It was emotional engineering. It connected over 20 films. It rewarded longtime fans. It closed arcs that began in 2008. And it did something very rare. It ended a massive franchise chapter perfectly. That's why it became one of the highest grossing films in history. Because it wasn't just a movie. It was an event. Direct hit ending call TO action. You can use this. If you enjoyed discovering these hidden details, comment below. Backhand index pointing right, which moment made you emotional? Backhand index pointing right. And what other movie should we break down next? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more deep movie breakdowns. Because trust me, there's always something you missed.